What's up, trainers? Pokémaster Ryan here, back with another video. So, in this episode, we are going to be talking about the history of the Monarch of the Pokemon World Coronation series. Yes, I'm talking about Ash Ketchum. So, I figured, let's talk about his history and how he became the very best. So, without further ado, let us make our way into this documentary. But before I begin, make sure you subscribe, leave a like, and click the notification bell if you're new to this channel so you're not late for any updated content. So, let us begin starting now. So we begin Ash's documentary as he is growing up in Palatown with his mother, Delia Ketchum, who is pretty much a single mother because the father of Ash is a very busy traveling Pokemon trainer, so he would never be around. And then later on, we actually have Ash meet Gary Oak and his grandfather, Professor Oak, who's the town's expert on Pokemon, who then later on gives Ash his Pikachu. At some point, Ash gets lost in a forest while he is playing around and is cuddling with some wild Pokemon he met in the forest. Also, later on, he attends a summer camp, but eventually oversleeps. This is the same summer camp that Go and Chloe attended, which was one of Professor Oak's summer camps in Palatown. Shortly after, Ash goes to another summer camp of Professor Oak's, where he meets future Pokemon traveling companion, Serena, where then he then meets her, but they don't meet for another, decade or so until Ash gets to college. The day before Ash starts his journey, he reunites with future rival Gary Oak, where they're both fishing in a little pond outside of Palatown, and they have their first battle over a old rusted Pokeball, but it's not a battle, it's a fishing battle. And the day after, Ash starts his journey where he gets Pikachu from Professor Oak. At first, the two don't get along until they get attacked by a group of Spearow, and this is when they meet the OG Pokegirl, Misty. Before he went to Pewter City for his first gym battle, this is where he went to meet Jesse, James, and Meowth, a trio of delinquent villains who want to later begin to steal Ash's Pikachu because of its high-level stats, and then they just travel Ash around the world for that single cause, even going broke for that reason. During his journey to Pewter City, he travels through Viridian Forest, and he catches a level 5 Caterpie, and then later on catches a Pidgeotto, making Ash's team a little bit stronger at the same time. Once Ash gets to Pewter City, he then meets Brock, the future traveling companion during his journey across Kanto to Sinnoh, and then after he joins up with Ash, Misty later joins the party at the same time. Ash manages to catch all 3 starter Pokemon, so Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle, and meanwhile, in between badge number 6 and 7, Charmander evolves into Charmeleon and then Charizard. However, after evolving, Charmander stops listening to Ash and becomes disobedient, doing whatever it wants, making exceptions during battles of Pokemon it deems battles, such as Blaine's Magmar and Tad's Poliwrath in the Orange Islands. After acquiring all 8 badges, Ash is eligible to participate in the Indigo Plateau, and however, after battling with his Charizard, he loses to his new friend and rival Richie by using Charizard, who falls asleep due to not wanting to battle Richie's Pikachu, thus causing Ash to be disqualified from the Pokemon League. And then later on, him, Brock, and Misty are going to Valencia Island in the Orange Islands to pick up the GS Ball. However, as bad things are inevitable to happen, Brock leaves the group to be with Professor Ivy and her things, and gets replaced by the shitty numbhead Tracy Sketchit himself. But yeah, Tracy replaces Brock for a season, and Ash manages to catch and release Lapras for the entire season. And thankfully, towards the end of the season, the last episode of Season 2, Brock rejoins the team, and Tracy stays at Professor Oak's lab, and we never get to see his ass for more than an episode ever again. And balance is once again restored. Much like Kanto, Ash then decides to go on to Johto with Brock and Misty to travel across the region and to participate in the Silver Conference Johto League. Meanwhile, there, Ash battles his rival Gary for once again in the Johto League, meeting other trainers like Harrison and Tyson and other trainers. After losing the Johto League, Ash then says goodbye to Brock and Misty after they go back home, and then Ash, after losing Pikachu, decides to go to the Hoenn region thanks to Harrison, bringing only Pikachu with him, like he did in the very first episode of the series. As soon as Ash gets to Hoenn, lots of things happen to him. He meets May, Max, and reunites with Brock. May and Max are the children of the Petalburg gym leader, Norman, and Ash manages to mature a little bit in Hoenn. However, he retains his cocky streak and then decides to train his Pokemon more and teaching them more moves, such as when he taught Pikachu Iron Tail and Volt Tackle, Swellow Aerial Ace, and Trico Bullet Seed, and Snow-Run Ice Beam. And after losing in the Hoenn League from Tyson, Meowth, he then decides to participate in the Battle Frontier and decides to use his old Pokemon once again in battling these new trainers. At the end of the Battle Frontier arc, Ash then decides to say goodbye to May and Max and Brock as he goes back to Pallet Town, and then after reuniting with Gary, Ash then goes to the Sinnoh region with Pikachu and a stowaway Aipom as he travels through Sinnoh towards the Season 10 starts. Sinnoh is the toughest season Ash has gotten in his journey so far, since he travels around with Dawn and Brock and meets a douchebag trainer named Paul, who teaches him that no matter how tough you are, somebody will always be better than you. And these two are two sides of the same coin. Being Ash is all about strength, Paul is all about logic and getting the strongest Pokemon. Meanwhile, Ash then participates in after participating in the Heart Home contest, Ash catches Paul's released Chimchar and makes it into Infernape towards the end of the Sinnoh arc. In the final episode of Sinnoh, after Chansey was evolved from Happiny, Brock then decides to leave Ash's journey for good as he decides to become a Pokemon doctor, and Ash then says goodbye to Dawn and Brock as he goes back to Pallet Town as he starts his Unova journey, saying goodbye to everybody, excluding Pikachu. After coming home from Sinnoh, Ash then takes a vacation with his mom and Professor Oak to the Unova region, where then we meet Professor Juniper at the Unova professor of the region, where Ash then meets his regional rival, Trip, who is essentially just Blonde Paul at this point. But anyways, Ash then decides to start his journey after a confrontation against the legendary Pokemon Zekrom, where he meets a new trainer, Iris, who it just left her hometown, the Village of Dragons, to start her journey. Prior to participating in the Unova League and after losing the Junior Cup, Ash then finally meets the boss of Team Rocket, Giovanni, which is possibly Ash's secret dad, but we'll talk about that in a separate video. Anyways, after losing to Giovanni's Persian, Ash and friends finally defeat Team Rocket's plan to control the forces of nature of the Unova region. And then after participating in the Unova League, Ash then loses to Cameron, a trainer who brings 5 Pokemon to the 6-on-6 battles. And Pikachu loses to his Lucario, and after that, Ash and friends participate in the Declor Islands seasons, where they go on island to island to getting to the Kanto region, which is where Ash and friends meet Alexa, a Pokemon journalist, who then accompanies them to Kanto, where then Ash finally says goodbye to Iris and Silent as he makes his way to the Kalos region. Unlike other seasons, Ash and Kalos is definitely the most mature we've ever seen of the character in the entire franchise, as Ash is more independent from asking for help from others, but as soon as Ash gets to Kalos, he meets two people, Clement and Bonnie, which we later learn Clement is the Lumio City gym leader. And after Ash got to Lumio City, he departs from Alexa's accompanying him, and Ash then reunites with former crush Serena, who then takes him to the Kalos region journey. After losing in the Lumio City Kalos League, Ash manages to go back home to Pallet Town, where he says goodbye to Clement, Bonnie, and Serena, as all 4 of them go their separate ways, as Clement goes back to being the gym leader, Serena goes to the Hoenn region, and Ash goes back to Pallet Town to start his journey in the Alola region, which was initially just a vacation for Ash and his mom. Sun and Moon was a major downgrade for Ash, not just emotionally, but physically, because Ash's character design looks horrible in Sun and Moon, and he looks like he got fucked up majorly. But anyways, as soon as Ash gets to Alola, he meets classmates and traveling companions of the Alola region: Mallow, Sophocles, Lana, Kiawe, and Lily, where they are in the Pokemon school taught by Professor Kukui, who is not a real professor. Fuck that. But anyways, Ash then manages to stay after meeting Tapu Koko, and then gets his own Z-Ring and Z-Crystal, the Electrium Z Crystal. However, after participating in the participating in the Ultra Beasts arc, Ash then gets an upgraded Z Crystal for Pikachu, the Pikachunium Z Crystal, which allows them to use the 10 million volt Thunderbolt Z move. As much as Ash was horrible in Sun and Moon, the only good thing about it was that he finally won a Pokemon Championship, as he was the first Alola region champion in Sun and Moon. Meanwhile, though, after beating the Alola League, Ash then goes back to Pallet Town as he wants to travel the world and becomes the gateway to Pokemon Journeys season. After returning to the Alola region, Ash is then requested to become a research assistant for Professor Cerise, and is the partner for Go in Pokemon Journeys in Vermilion City. And while Ash is in the Pokemon series, Ash then decides to participate in the Pokemon World Coronation series, a competition of the strongest trainers all across the world, where he battles a bunch of trainers from previous seasons. He battles Erica from the regions or whatever. He also meets the Galar League champion and monarch of the World Coronation Series, Leon, who introduces Ash to the Dynamax phenomenon, a phenomenon in the Galar regions exclusive, where it allows Pokemon to change their size to kaiju size. Ash's team in Galar, though, was really awesome, though, because he caught Dragonite, Gengar, Lucario, Sirfetch'd, and Dracovish, including Pikachu. So he manages to get Pokemon that he hasn't gotten before, which was wanting to have in previous seasons. However, as soon as Ash managed to get into the Ultra class and later the Master class, he started using his phenomenons from other regions into play, and he managed to get a Lucarionite from the Kalos region for Lucario to Mega Evolve it. And he trains with Greninja for Lucario's aura strengthening, and goes back to Pallet Town to train with all of his old Pokemon to help train his new Pokemon for the Master Class. And later on, he uses the Z Crystal, the Mega Evolution, and the Dynamax Band for his battle against Leon, all three in one, where he manages to beat Leon and become the new monarch of the World Coronation Series. After beating Leon, Ash decides to go on a new journey all by himself to learn more about Pokemon, and decides to rotate his team, returning to the last time he did it was in the Sinnoh region, where he was battling in the Sinnoh League. So then afterwards, Ash manages to go travel by himself, learn more about Pokemon, and see old Pokemon such as Lapras and Greninja and Squirtle. And that is where we're going to be ending this video for Ash's history all across the Pokemon world in the Pokemon anime. So, if you are new to this channel, make sure you subscribe, leave a like, and click the notification bell. I am Pokemon Master Ryan. Take care, guys, because I choose you. That is it. Bye, guys.